Jai Hind everyone. Myself Amrita Tiwari, Assistant Professor, Ajay Kumar Garg, Engineering College. Today my topic is on computer networks, OSI reference model. So let us see what are the OSI reference model and what are the different types of layers in it. So what let us understand what is OSI reference model. So OSI stands for Open System Interconnection, which is a reference model. That means from this reference we make another TCP/IP model. So OSI describes how the information from the software application in one computer moves through a physical medium to the software application in other computers. So this physical medium and software application. So this means we have different total 7 layers which include from the application layer, that is software application layer from which the user interact, to the last layer is physical layer. Physical medium is in this physical layer comes. So it is developed by ISO in 1984 and allows different systems to communicate regardless of their underlying architecture. It is a model for understanding a different, designing a network architecture that is flexible, robust, and interoperable. OSI consists of 7 layers. As I told you earlier, it consists of 7 layers, and each layer performs a specific task. So, what are the 7 layers? Let us understand. First is application layer, then comes a presentation layer, then comes a session layer, then comes a transport layer, then comes a network layer, then data link layer, and last comes a physical layer. We communicate with the application layer, the protocols, the layers in this layers, that doesn't, it means in each and every layer there is some specific protocols that performs in the particular data. We perform perform different types of roles in it, and each layer have a different role, and for that they have a different protocols to follow. Like in application layer, for file transfer, we use FTP. For email or for in transport layer, we use UDP and TCP protocols. In network layer, we use different types of routing protocol. In network layers, in internet protocol, where you use IP and logical addresses. In data link layer, it is used for error correction and detection. And the last physical layer, which integrates our data into a binary zeros and ones. So let us understand briefly about each layer. So first is a physical layer. We will be starting from the bottom to upper. So what is the physical layer? Physical layer is responsible for the movement of individual bits from one hop to the next. That is important, from one hop to the next. And this layer coordinates or carry a bit stream over a physical medium. Physical medium means we use a guided and unguided mediums like cables, switches, hubs, different types of cable. The cables we use, circuit switching, packet switching, all comes in the physical layers. So it means a individual bit, like this bit, individual bit carry over a transmission medium. This is a transmission medium, that is our cable. That is a cable. We use the unguided and guided both. It can be radio waves also, fiber optical cables also, or a Ethernet also. So all are the cables. And then transmission done to the other. It is a sender and the receiver. It is a receiver and it is a sender. The sender sends the data, comes from the data link layer to the physical layer. This changes in these are in the bits from zeros and ones. This travels through a transmission medium to the sender point, and from that it goes up above to the upper layer, that is data link layer. So what are its role? Let us see what are the function it performs. Physical layer, what are the function it performs? Firstly is the physical characteristic and of interfaces and medium. It means the medium we are using, the guided or unguided cables or anything we are using, the medium we are using to transfer from a sender to receiver our bits, they specify the physical characteristic of that. Secondly is the representation of the bits. How we are represent the bits? We represent the bits in the binary form, that is zeros and ones, which is understood. Then comes the data rate. Data rate means the transmission rate, the number of bits sent each second. Each second, how many numbers of bits we are sending in a physical layer. Then comes a synchronization of the bit. We are sending the bits, so that doesn't, if we are sending 0101, so from the sender, from the receiver to sender, the receiver will also get 0. First it will get 0, then it will get 1, then it will get 0, and then it will get 1. So there is a proper synchronization. That doesn't mean that first 1 will come, then 0 will come. No. How it started, it will end like that only. So synchronization of bit. So sender and receiver must have, their clock must be synchronized. Then comes the line synchronized configuration. That means a physical layer is concerned with the type of connection of devices to media. That is, it is either a point to point or a multi-point. Then comes a physical topology. Physical topologies means the topologies like bus, ring, star, hybrid. All these topologies are we understand in the physical layer. Then comes the transmission mode. Transmission mode means we use the devices. Devices are using either a simplex, half duplex, or a fully duplex. What type of transmission mode they are using? So these are all the physical layer responsibility they have to perform in a particular data that are coming from the upper layer, that is data link layer. So let us understand what is data link layer. Now data link layer. The data link layer is responsible for reliable and efficient communication between the two devices. It is mainly responsible for unique identification of each device that reside on a local network. Local network means the data which is coming from the upper layer. The upper layer from the data link layer is a network layer. So the data which is coming from the network layer to the data link layer, it is efficient, and then it goes to the physical layer. So it acts as a medium between the network layer and the physical layer. So it is responsible for the unique identification of the devices that reside in the local. So it is responsible for the hope to hope transmission of the node of the data. Hope to hope means if it is a topology connected, it is A, there is a router or a switch, let's suppose switch, and it is connected to another data. So if A wants to communicate with the B, so data link layer responsible for the hope to hope transmission. That is, it goes from here, then it goes from here, then it goes from here. So it doesn't concern about the source, what is the source and what is the destination. It is concerned about the what is the next step. That is hope to hope. Then A goes to the switch connector, and then this goes to the another topology which we are using the sender side, and then this goes to the B. So it is a hope to hope transmission. So what are the responsibilities? Firstly is the framing. Here the data units are called as a frames. In the physical layer, it is called as a nodes. Here we say data units as a frame. In the above network layer, we term data unit as a packets. So here the data units are referred as a frames. So it is used for the physical addressing. So what is the physical addressing? If the frames are to be distributed to a different system on a network, the data link layer adds a header file to the frame to define who is the sender and who is the receiver of the frame. If the frame layer intended for a system outside the network, the receiver address receiver address is the address of the device that connects to the network to the next one. So physical addressing is done. If we are communicating between the two different organization, so A is want to communicate with the B, and both are in the different communication. So A have to send their data plus the header file, so that the destination address or node should know from where he or she is getting the data. So header file contains the information about the source. Next comes the flow control. If the rate of the flow control means the data, the speed of the data which is coming from the network layer, it controls that. If the rate at which the data are absorbed by the receiver is less than the rate at which data are produced in the sender, the data layer imposes the flow control mechanism to avoid the overwhelming of the receiver. The main function of the data link layer is, firstly, it is a physical addressing, and next is a error detection and error correction. It in the data which we get from the upper layer, network layer, from that layer it checks if there is any error, or if there is error, so it will detect that error and correct it also. So error correction and detection is the main function of the data link layer. So the data link layer adds the reliability to the physical layer by adding the mechanism to detect and retransmit the lost frames. If the frames are lost or have some error, it will be retransmitted again. We will be using the different types of protocols here. The simple protocol, selective protocol, there are different types of protocol for this. It is also uses to recognize the duplicate frames. If there are duplicate frames also, it will detect it and it will cut down. It is drop that frames. And error control is normally achieved through the trailer of the end of the frame. Trailer. So 2 points, trailer and the header. Both are in the data link layer. It should be important. It is an important topic. Then comes the access control. When two or more devices are connected to the same link, the data link protocols are necessary to determine which device has a control over the link at a given time. So this is also an important responsibility of the data link layer. Now let's come the network layer. So network layer means it is the source to destination delivery of the packet. Source to destination delivery. In data link layer, we are concerning about the hope to hope transfer, and here we are concerning about the source to destination delivery of the packet. The network layer is also referred as the internet layer, where we will be studying about the IP, internet protocol, IP addresses, how the routing is done. There are different types of routings are there. So all these comes under the network layer. If this is A sender and this is the B, so the data network layer get from the transport layer, and then this will be sent to the data link layer, and further it is sent to the physical link layer. Similarly, if the sender part is there, physical layer gives to the data link layer, and data link layer gives frames. In data link layer, we term data as a frames. The frames are then transferred to the network layer. Here we frame a data link, we term data as a packets. Packet is delivered from the data link layer in the sender receiver part, and from receiver part this goes to the network layer. So what is the responsibility of the network layer? Firstly, the logical addressing. In the data link layer, we are giving here the physical addressing, but in the network layer, we are concerning about the logical addressing, means the IP addresses, where we use IP4, IP5 version 6 addresses. IP4 version is a old version. Now we uses the IP version 6. So what is the logical addressing? The physical layer addressing implemented by the data link layer handles the addressing problem locally. If the packet passes the system boundary, we need another addressing system which distinguish the source and the destination system. And the network adds the header to the packet combining from the upper layer. Upper layer means the transport layer, and that amongst the things include the logical addresses of the sender and the receiver. The main function of the network layer is the routing, how the packets are routed from the source to destination. If this is the end system and this is the end system, and the link is, if the intermediate system, if this system want to communicate with this system, there is some links, there is an intermediate system there, it will connect it with the routers or switches, it will connect with that, and that switch will routing means the best possible shortest path it will choose to go to the receiver end. So it will choose the data which are sending from the sender part will use the different types of paths, that is routing paths to go to the receiver end. Then comes the transport layer. So what is the function of transport layer? It is responsible for delivering the message from one process to the another. It is a process in the application programming running on the host. So the transport layer is much closer to the application layer. So interaction between the application layer and the transport layer is more. So what are the responsibility? Firstly, the service point addressing. What is the service point addressing? The computer runs several programs or processes at the same time. Transport layer is responsible for delivering of messages from a specific process on a computer to a specific process running program on the other. Transport layer header must include a type of address called service point address. Then comes a segmentation and assembling. Segmentation and assembling means the data we are getting from the upper layer. It is compressed, it is decrypted. So segmentation and reassembling means the data which are we getting from the from the presentation or session layer. The message is divided into a transmittable segments. It is the message divided into transmittable segment, and each segment consists a sequence number. It is important. It is consist of the sequence number, and this number enables the transport layer to reassemble the message correctly upon the destination and to identify and replace that were lost in the transmission. Then comes a connection control. The transport layer can be a connectionless and a connection oriented. It can use a TCP layer or a UDP protocol. There are two protocols we will be studying in the transport layer, that is TCP and then UDP. Then comes a flow control and error control. The flow control and error control are both, it is done in the data link layer also and in the transport layer also. The functioning is the same. We will be using the checksum or parity bits here also, like we are using in the data link layer. It is responsible for the control of the error flow control. If the data is, what is the flow of the data from the receiver end, from the sender end to the receiver end, and also check if there is any packet is or any data is lost during, or any duplicate data is coming from the upper layer. So it will check the error and detect it. Then comes the session layer. Session layer and presentation layer are very small topics that they don't have so much of responsibilities. So what is a session layer? Session layer is used for the inter-host communication. It establishes and manages and terminates the session between the application. Like if we are having any party. So for party we are organizing some party. So for every task we will be assigning some people there. So like that only session layer will assign. It will assign everyone some functions. So it establishes and manages and terminates the session between the applications. So they have two responsibilities. Firstly is a dialog control. So what is dialog control? A session allows two systems to enter into the dialog It allows the communication between the processes to take place in a half duplex or a full duplex. Like I have said, if there is any party, everyone has having a responsibility. So any two, if there any two wants to process the data, if anyone wants to do any event, so session layer will provide them. Session layer will provide them. Secondly, a synchronization. Synchronization means session layer allows a process to add a checkpoint and synchronization point to a stream of data. For example, this if a system is sending a 2000 pages, it is advisable to insert a checkpoints after every 100 pages so that to ensure 100 pages unit is received and acknowledged independently. So, like this only, if we are sending a data of 5,000 bytes, so in every 100 or 200 bytes or every 1,000 bytes also, we will be using some checkpoints so that we can ensure that the data, the 1,000 part or 1,000 data byte data is received successfully to the receiver, and we have get the acknowledgement. That same in this case, if there is any crash in the transmission of page 5, if 5123, the only page that needs to be resent after recovery are the pages from 501 to 523. The pages previous from 501 not need to be resent. So this is the meaning of synchronization. That's why we add the checkpoint in every sending. If we are sending a big large chunk of data, we will be dividing the data into some parts, and we will be adding a checkpoint so that we will be ensure that the data is sent successfully. If there is any error, so we will be understand that there is error in that part only, and that part only will be retransmitted, not the whole data. So this is the main function of the session layer. Then comes the presentation layer. Presentation layer is concerned with the syntax and semantics of the information exchange between the two systems. The responsibility of the key responsibility of the presentation layer is a translation, encryption, and compression. The data which we are getting from the application layer, that is from the user only, the data is in a very big, it is of very big size, and so for translation means it is changed into the binary zeros and ones. The data for the security for the security purpose of that data, we will be performing an encryption and decryption also, and to reduce the size of the data, we will be compressing that data. So these are the three key responsibility of the presentation layer. This is like translation means we are using the different coding system, as I told you, and the presentation layer is responsible for interoperability between the two different coding methods. The second encryption means it will ensure the privacy and the security of the sensitive information. If we are sending some email, we are sending some confidential data, it will be encrypted, or it will be encrypted using some keys. And similarly, and at the receiver end, it will be decrypted using that a particular key. If you are using a private key or private key or public key cryptography, that will be done. Last is compression, means it will reduce the number of bits. If the data is of the 5 MB and we have it is very large size, so we want to reduce the size up to 2 MB, so we will compress the data so that text and video can be easily be transmitted. Last is an application layer. Application layer enables the user when the human or software to access the network. It provides a user interface responsible for the services. Application layer doesn't mean that we are using some application. It means there are some protocols that we are using in it. Like for the file transfer, we will be using FTP. For email, we will be using the FMTP. So different types of protocols are there in the application layer that is used by the user to have some transmission or to use some applications. Like its responsibility is a network virtual file transfer and access management, that we are using the FTP, mail for SMTP, directory files we will be using. So these all are the SI OSI reference model. We are saying it a reference model because from this we will making the TCP/IP model. Though in application layer in TCP/IP, these three layers are merged. Then there is a transport layer, there is a network layer, and the data link layer and physical layer are again merged as a network access layer. So this is the reference model that we are using to create a TCP/IP model. So that's all for today. Thank you.